All right, guys, welcome back to the Kat and Mark show. We were about to start about 3 minutes ago, but Kat decided to scoff down a bunch of lollies, so I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, guys.
But this week, we have Candice, high-end escort in Sydney, where we're from, so that's amazing. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys, for having me. It's been a long time.
Yeah, thanks for coming on finally. We've been trying to get you on for a while.
Yes. I was too nervous. Worked up the courage.
I'm glad that we can be your first. Is this your first podcast that you've been on?
Yes.
Oh, very
Wow,
exciting.
losing
We're
your
honoured.
podcast virginity.
I am.
We're all doing this together.
Now I'm going to
okay?
be a podcast slut.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Next minute, she's like, I love podcasts.
A lot of people actually come on and they're like, I just want to do more podcasts now. And I'm like, it is fun.
It is. It's addictive, yeah. Especially once you go with the Kat and Mark show, you just have to keep podcasting.
It's all downhill from here, though.
Yeah. So
I started at the top.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're going to ruin podcast for you. It's just going to be disappointing from here on out, really. It's basically what's happening. All right. So, yeah, welcome. Finally, good to have you here. So, I guess we'll get started with, how did you get into escorting?
Okay. Well, my origin story, I would start with when I started stripping. So, that was in about 2014.
Okay. That was a while ago,
Yeah. It's been a while.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was 10 years.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you'd been in the industry for that long.
Oh my God, I'm old.
That is not what I was saying. But
well, I guess not full service. I actually I never dabbled before I started doing full service in 2019. So that was like a good 5 years.
Wow. That was a long transition because a lot of people we have on the show start with stripping, but it takes like 3 months and then they're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I can make much more money doing anything else.
Yeah, well, I always wanted to, but I was very shy at first. I don't think I could have gone straight into full service. So I think the reason it took me a while is I had a very long-term relationship. When we broke up, I just was like, I'm going to be a hoe now. Because look, I talked about it with my ex and he just wasn't comfortable and I sort of respected that.
Did he know you were a stripper?
He was my regular, when I started.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember it was so cute. He used to come and see me for private shows and we used to talk about Star Wars and all this nerdy stuff.
That's the cutest story.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, just hit it off. And then 5 years, about 4 to 5 years together. So
can I ask you about that transition from client to relationship?
It happened pretty quickly with him because I was a bit I was wild and young, and I didn't really have boundaries. We good?
Adjusting the mic a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess my boundaries weren't as good. But, he was a nice guy. It wasn't like a train wreck of a relationship. Yeah. It just fizzled, I guess you could say. It was a mutual breakup in the end. But, what was it? What were we talking about?
I was just curious how you go from client, because imagine this guy coming in and he's paying you for dances and he's like, by the way, I love Star Wars. And you're like, you love Star Wars? It's amazing.
Yeah, right? It's like he had it all worked out. No, I guess he wasn't trying. I asked him out.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I think if someone's trying, then I will be
it turns you off
pump
a little bit.
The brakes. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you initiated that a little bit.
Yeah, and then while I was stripping at clubs, I was also doing a bit of waitressing and pub waitressing, which I actually kind of miss.
What do you miss
just
about it?
Just having a chat at the pub, with the guys that go to the pub every day and they're just good banter.
Yeah, fair.
And I just really miss that. But I think if I was doing it again like I was, I'd get pretty tired of it because it's tiring and you do get a lot of people being a bit touchy and
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So the good clients is fine, you chill, but then the bad ones you're like, fuck.
Yeah, there's always one guy that gets way too drunk and he just takes it too far. So look, that was a fun time of my life, but
that probably taught you some boundaries for getting into sex work.
I think so. Yeah. Definitely. I would be screwed if I went straight into full service because there's just, you do have to sort of have your wits about you in reading the room and
Did you start at an agency or anything, or how did you actually make the jump? Did you just? Did the breakup happen and you were like, I'm just going to fuck guys for money now?
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah. So I had a friend that used to do full service work years and years ago at a parlor, but I sort of was chatting to her about her experience and thinking, oh yeah, I could do this. We were planning to start together, but she sort of chickened out. And I just started advertising and went for it.
I guess I want to ask about your advertising specifically because I've been on your website and it looks really good, by the way.
You.
Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I think
that's I'm going to plug Wild Ruby Consult.
There you go.
They created it for me.
There you go. Because I was going to ask if you had a creative influence in there because the whole page, like it's very service driven and everything kind of has like a little name to it. And it's like, I thought it was very captivating.
I wrote all the copy on it because I just have fun with it. I just go the candy theme, food themed. I love food, so it bodes well for me.
Yeah, nice. Was it always that way from the beginning? Were you like very marketing driven, copy driven, or was that come with time?
Yeah, actually, I've still got the same little about me section on Scarlet Blue as I did from day one.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How has your brand changed over time? Do you think, like, when you, because like you've got a very specific, unique brand now.
Thank you.
So, but I mean, most girls don't have the same brand now as they would have when they first started. I definitely don't. How do you think that it's changed over time?
Well, even though the about me is still the same, like the types of bookings and experiences I'm doing have definitely changed, and that's been on purpose because when I started I was like, I'm just going to be the sluttiest version of myself, tiny little bikinis and really like porn star experience focused, which is great, but it seemed to lend itself to like just more frequent hardcore bookings, which I couldn't sort of physically keep up with it.
Yeah, they're very exhausting ones when you have to go like the heavy PSE.
Absolutely, which is really fun from time to time. But if it's sort of like all I'm doing, I just needed a bit more variety. And I also wanted to do the going out for dinners and, sort of the girlfriend experience. So I started leaning more towards that. And I put it out there what I wanted, right? So what I started doing was, I was cheating a bit, but I would go out to a dinner and take photos and just post it implying I was with a client because that's what I really wanted.
Oh, smart.
And then I guess people were like, oh, she does that. So then I started actually getting people inquire about dinner dates. And then it just sort of, snowballed from there, really.
Yeah, because it seems like, especially when I looked at your website, it seems like there is a big focus on the experiences, right? Like the dinner dates, like going to like a ball or something like that, or like opera or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I haven't been to a ball yet. I would love that.
Well, there you go. People listening.
Yeah, for people listening.
So I guess my question is, what has been your like favorite experience that a client has taken you to?
I knew you'd ask me what my favorite is. It's so hard. Like one that comes to mind. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm not forgetting something like really amazing.
Yeah, some
on the spot.
Like,
but I know.
Damn, I just put all this effort in. Just talking about the picnic date, really?
Yeah, I know. One time we just sat on a couch and watched a movie.
Exactly, yeah, it was incredible.
That would be like your favorite date.
Yeah, it would. Hey,
I've done that
couch,
before.
pajamas,
like,
how good?
Legit.
Yeah.
Like
I've done bookings like that before as well, where like it'll be like an overnight or something like that, and we like just don't leave the hotel. We just watch TV or movies, order room service. And sometimes that can be, depending on the mood as well, sometimes that can be very fun.
Yeah. So,
well, sorry, you do have a section called like pajama something, right?
Pajama party.
Pajama party.
Oh, is that like a...
It's my overnight.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like the let's not leave the room, let's order room service kind of thing. Yeah.
And a compulsory 7 hours of sleep is needed.
Absolutely.
But
I'm a sleepy bitch.
Everyone that does overnights, you have to put that in. Mine has that as well, because you do get the clients that think that if they're going to book you for a 24-hour date, it means that you were not sleeping for the 24 It's not a joke. Like if you don't put that in there, they will assume they're going to get you for 24 hours straight.
I think I can fuck for a long time, but some people they put me to shame. They could just like keep on going, and I'm like, no, I need a bit of a rest.
And some sleep.
I think the longest fuck session I did, but there was some breaks in between this. I don't know if it counts as like the longest. I think it was about 3 hours.
Okay,
that's solid.
But this client was really hot and I was also very into it. If I wouldn't have been able to do it if I wasn't also mutually into it.
Of course.
But there was like some in between as well, like where you would stop for a bit, have a little bit of a breather.
Or they'll just eat your pussy for a moment.
Yeah, just kind of like, okay, water. But yeah, if I wasn't into it as well, like I probably wouldn't have let it go on for that long.
Yeah, you're like, I need a break.
Yes. It's like you can never go into an experience like being like, yep, I want to fuck for this long and do this for this long. Like it never works out when you plan it.
Yeah, you got to go with the flow a little bit.
I feel like we've cut you off. So what was your favorite date?
Yes. Yeah. So going back in my like Rolodex of dates.
Yeah, because you've been taken to a few fun things like shows and plays.
Yes.
And
I went to see Elton John.
I kind of thought that you would maybe pick that one.
Yes. And that was an amazing concert. A very like bucket list concert I wanted to go to because I love music and a bit of an old soul. I like, older music too. And that was a really good date. Really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dressed up all like, outrageously and we got the Elton John sunglasses.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
And was that something where the guy had known you'd been into this and kind of planned it?
We talked about it. So it wasn't the first time meeting. We sort of found out that we had,
mutual
tastes
interest.
in common. And then he suggested it. And I was like, absolutely, I would love to do that.
Yeah, nice.
So that comes to mind. I went to Margaret River in, I was about to say Perth. It's not in Perth. It's in Western Australia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that like a winery or something?
It's like the winery region.
Okay.
And so he flew me over and then we drove together.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was good because I just got chauffeured around while like sipping on
trip.
wine.
Awesome.
And
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I can see why you've picked this niche a little bit
it's great.
then. Yeah.
Just get to eat and drink. Well, I don't really drink anymore. That was like in my drinking phase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Phase.
So we're talking a lot about, I guess, the positive things. Like, yes, the dinner dates and everything is all really fun. But as somebody who has done like overnight bookings and like long bookings as well, it can get very exhausting.
Yes.
How do you, I guess, cope with that as well? And have you ever had any situations where like you might have gone on a date with someone and been like, a couple hours in,
You're
been
like,
like,
fuck.
yeah, like where there's just no chemistry? Like, has that ever happened?
Look, I've never had any like terrible experiences. And I've been lucky that the gentlemen who've chosen to see me, I think we're on the same wavelength. So there's always something in common. And I always tell people we need activities to do because I love dates where you've got something else you're focusing on, right? And it's a bit of a bonding experience and you can laugh about it. So it's not just, like staying in the bedroom for 24 hours would not be great, I think, even though in some people's minds it might be, but you need to get out and do activities, go eat.
Yeah, have things to look
mini
forward
golf. To. I've done mini golf a couple of times.
Damn,
that's a super cute date.
Yeah.
It's really
I've
cute.
gone on a date to mini golf before once. This was like when I was like much younger, but that's definitely fun because they can like put their hands around you and everything.
Fuck that. I get way too competitive.
Oh, dude.
The girl's like, oh, I need some help. I'm like, bitch, you're on your own, okay? Listen, I'm going to destroy you, all right? You're already fucking 3 points behind. All right?
Terrifying.
Don't take me to mini golf. Anything competitive, the girl will never want to see me again. I got to be careful.
Do not do that.
Yeah, if you're competitive. But no, this is some great advice. Like for the guys listening at home, you've been on a lot of dates, obviously, right? So do you have any like tips? So one of them would be, which I really like, is have an activity. So you're not just like staring at each other and not knowing what to say. So an activity is like a really good idea. Do you have any other ideas? Like, would you suggest asking the girl or just planning it without too much input? Like, what do you think would be best for these guys?
Communication.
Yes.
Every girl's different. Like some girls might not want to do something physical or something.
Totally. So it's, I think, good to talk about it unless you've been seeing someone for a while, you sort of know. But if it's a first date, I think, definitely an activity.
Yeah, cool.
Because I sometimes get a bit nervous when other people are nervous. It rubs off on me. Yeah. So it's good if we just have
someone to distract you guys a little bit.
Absolutely.
I'm curious about your, like, I guess, screening process with these dates. Like, so I know for me, if I'm going to have an extended date with somebody, I do a FaceTime call with them first because I'm like, I'm not going to rock up and then this guy, like, not talk or something like that. So I always say, like, I'm just like, hey, like, yeah, okay, like, yeah, cool, I'm interested. Like, I try to agree on, I guess, a few pointers first just to see if it's even worth my time. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, like we have to have a FaceTime call. Like I have to know if we're even going to vibe because I just can't do it if we're not. Do you do something similar?
Yeah. A phone call. FaceTime's a good idea. I just like sometimes I'm, on my way to the gym and I don't really want anyone to look at me, but phone call normally and chat about what their expectations are and make it clear that it's not like a 3-day fuck fest.
Yeah.
Well, it is of sorts, but with breaks.
Yeah,
How
with
do you
breaks and
communicate that
sleep.
though, right? Like
I literally will say that.
Oh, you're just like, listen, it's not a 3-day
Yes.
fuck fest, motherfucker. Oh,
I mean,
that's
hold
awesome.
the
I like it.
motherfucker, but basically.
sorry, yeah.
Well, look, to be
Right,
honest,
I'm a little bit more polite than that, but yeah.
but majority of guys, I think, especially the ones that are booking the longer days,
Absolutely.
they usually know.
Yeah.
And usually they tend to be older and they probably couldn't.
Yeah,
they probably
I get
couldn't do
all
that
sorts
anyway.
Of all sorts of ages.
Okay.
Like it varies. I think that because I put so much of myself out there on social media that I do attract like-minded people.
Okay. Cool.
I think that's been such a good thing for my mental health that I've put that out there, because then I've never been in a terrible situation where I haven't gelled with someone. Yeah,
it's a really good, I guess, like filtering process in itself, because
it's almost
people
part
know
of the
what
screening.
they're getting, right? Like,
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
And by the time they're ready to come to me, they've made up their mind and they're the right person. Yeah.
And so do you notice, like, I'm curious what the difference would be, because you were talking about like porn star experience to begin with, how you started, compared to now these dates that maybe like 48 hours, you like getting taken to places. Like, I'm curious, like the difference in the guy themselves. Do you find much of a difference in the clientele, or is it just difference in the experience that you are having with that clientele?
I think there's not really a one type of person that sees me. I think that their expectations are different because they want that companionship.
Okay.
Right? And whereas in the past it's just been like bang bang and then out of there, which like I said is fine from time to time, but
Bang,
I do
bang,
like
and
to
leave.
be, wined and dined and all of that. Yeah.
And do you find that there's, because you spoke about before how you went from stripping and then you started dating someone. Do you find that sometimes it is hard to create that barrier? Because I'm sure like with the porn star experiences you said, the guys are like coming in, they're having like fun sex, and then it's like, okay, that's what I came for, bye.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, okay, maybe they've seen you on social media, they're developing like somewhat of a bond, now they're seeing you for 2 days. Do you find it's hard to, because obviously you want to create that feeling of like connection there, right?
And it's genuine.
Yeah,
like
course,
I'm not putting on an act. It's genuine, but there also needs to be boundaries. So I think it's important, say if it's someone who wants to see me multiple times, if in between that time we don't communicate unless there's some kind of arrangement worked out. I think that's been a big help.
Yeah.
Because in the past, I would sometimes message people back when they message me things that have like nothing to do with, making a booking with me. But I think that was a bit of a mistake on my part.
Okay.
Because it might have given people the wrong impression, whereas I was just trying to be friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess you also, like if I'm thinking about like retention of clients, we're thinking from like a business model. My initial instinct would be, oh yeah, I should probably message these guys in between, like kind of, build. But then you're right. It's also, they might be thinking, oh, like this is like non-work related. And so it's really tough, I think, to find. How do you go about this?
Yeah, look, it is tough. So like, I've been, I guess, in a similar boat. Like sometimes, especially if it's like a good client and it's a regular and it's somebody that obviously you're going to make like a lot of money from, you do want to kind of make them feel, I guess, a little bit wanted and somewhat special. And it's like, okay, if they message you, it's like, okay, well, like, all right, I should probably reply, even if it might just be something that I guess is not booking related. But you do have to be careful, especially like when you're applying as well, because like I have a few clients that are like big clients of mine and they will message me every now and then, like just random things, like maybe they watch something like, oh, I watched this movie, like, I think you might like it or something like that, like something random like that. That's okay. But then I have had to fire a client once that was like a good regular that I must have just maybe replied too much, and he then got the impression that he could just call me 5 times a day just to ask me how my day was, message me good morning and things like that. And I was like, okay, look, like we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. Like, and he was a good client. Like we had a lot of fun together.
It's so difficult.
I didn't want to have to fire him, but I had to. And then I was like, well, I didn't really. I kind of just had to be really stern with him. I was like, you can't do that. And then he obviously then got upset. And then
I feel like I've been through similar things before, and it's a shame it has to get to that point. So I guess moving forward for me now, I'm trying to be more preventative in things like that happening. And I just think that I do have a bit of a responsibility. It's not all my responsibility for someone else's actions, but I think I need to do the right thing and not sort of feed into a kind of something someone is built up in their mind.
Yeah.
So you've had similar experiences?
Yeah, and it's a learning curve. I think that's like the number one takeaway I've gained so far in my career is I must have boundaries for everyone's sake, so everyone can have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to go about it. So we spoke a little bit about those, right? So like no messaging in between. You kind of get to know them a little bit through a call beforehand. Is there anything else that you kind of put into place to like, you know, obviously telling them you need 7 hours of sleep?
Yeah.
Look, that sounds funny, but like everyone, you have to do it because then otherwise you're going to get booked on a party booking and they're going to be like, what do you mean you want to sleep?
No.
Let's just do cocaine and just stay up all night.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, that's so smart.
Otherwise, that is exactly what they're going to think. They're going to think you're just going to do a bunch of drugs and stay up all night, all weekend.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Because there are girls that cater to those kinds of bookings as well. So you like, you've got to be stern. Like,
I wish I could.
Oh,
damn.
I'm a petal.
They used to like, when I was at my agency, they used to like throw us into bookings like that. We didn't have a choice. We were at the agency. We had to do whatever bookings they wanted. And they would just throw us into these party bookings that would go all weekend. And I was like, I just want to go to bed.
I think it's a really unhealthy lifestyle. Like I was seeing a couple of girls who were in escorting that would do these types of bookings where I think they use the drugs as a bit like the partying as a bit of an escape as well. So they would go there.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it might be good for a while, but I think it catches up with you, right?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like when you're young, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
But I'm too old for that shit.
Yeah. You're like, take me on a date.
Yeah. Well, when I was at my agency, I didn't mind those bookings at first. I was like, oh, this is fun. I'm getting paid to party.
Like a party.
But then it was fun for like 3 weekends. And then after like a few weekends in a row, I was like, this is actually fucking shit now. Like
you're having like an existential crisis and none of that. But it's weird. I do not seem to attract those kind of bookings.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't imagine so. Like,
yeah.
And I think you mentioned it, right? When you market a certain way, when people see your personality, then you're going to attract a certain clientele. So yeah, I can't imagine there's going to be like some guy that's like, I'm ready for a fucking crazy weekend, blah, blah. And then like going to your page and being like, yeah, this is the goal for me.
I know, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
I require 7 hours of sleep while you sit next to me and do lines.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I'm the same. I don't really get that many kind of bookings as well. Like occasionally, but it's never like they might, you know, I might have clients that's like maybe partying, you know, they might see me in the morning from like a big night out, but it's not like the expectation.
You've mentioned this to me before and it blows my mind. It's like you've just woken up and you're seeing people at the end of a big night.
Yeah. Well, because I do like the 4, 5 a.m. wake up. So I get a lot of inquiries in the morning. And I have on my ad that I start very early in the morning. And I very, very, especially living in the middle of the city, I very often get people that are like coming down on their bender. All their friends are asleep and they're like, I want some company.
Yeah. And you're just like full of beans, ready to go.
And they always like, I'll see them and then they're like, God, you look fresh for someone that's been up all night. I'm like, mate, I just woke up.
You should tell them. You should tell
just
them.
go
I've been
along
up
with it.
all night. I just look great.
Ew, no, are you serious? Why would I downgrade myself to someone who stays up all night?
Excuse me?
That's disgusting. No thanks.
All right, I got a question for you. Do you enjoy morning sex in your personal life?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you're like down for it. What about yourself? Are you a morning sex type of guy? Both of you?
No. It's in like no. I need to. I'm
the most energetic in the morning. Like if you catch me in the morning, you're gonna. That's me at my peak.
Damn.
You're going to get peak sexual activity
say it's
from
like
me.
10 p.m. and a guy's like, hey, babe, let's go.
I'm already asleep. So like there's no one messaging. No messages I'm replying to at 10 p.m.
Okay, fair. So I'm the complete opposite. Like nighttime, I'm good to go. If you wake me up anywhere before 10 a.m. and you want to have sex, it's not happening. I'm sorry.
I'm somewhere in between both of you because I need to wake up. I love an afternoon romp. I love it. I'm a lady of the afternoon and early evening.
Very classy of you. Of afternoon.
Like classy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, post tea. Yeah, before Elton John.
Before we pop off to Elton.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. I love it. All right, have you ever had any like nightmare dates where you're just like, oh my God? It could even be personal life, right? Where you're just being like, oh my God, this is not what I was expecting.
I know I have. But I'm trying to think of like funny ones because there's been nightmares that are like literally traumatic. So I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think. Let's like put a pin in that one.
Yeah.
Because,
we'll come back to it.
Yeah. I'm sure I have something.
Yeah. What about you? Have you done like many dates with clients where you're just like, fuck, I wish I organized this?
like that's being really bad?
Yeah, I feel like that's your personality. Would be like, okay, listen, next time I'm organizing this shit, okay? Listen, we're going here, we're doing this. I'll just tell you what to do.
So I actually went on it was like a lunch date booking with a client once, and he booked like a high tea for us to do. So I was like, that sounds really fun. Nice. I was really looking forward to it. But then he had accidentally booked it for like the wrong day. So like when we got there, they were like, oh, like your things not like, so I don't even know how this happened. So it was like the high tea wasn't even on that day. So like we couldn't even just like pay on the spot to go there. Like, yeah, we don't even do it like today. It's actually, we only do it on like these days, and like today isn't like one of these days. So like we couldn't even so we were just
I feel like this was on purpose. So like, oh no, what are we going to do?
Yo, guys, if you don't have money, okay, plan a helicopter ride to high tea and be like, oh shit, it's booked out. I really had this all planned. No, this brings back trauma for me. I remember once I took a girl, right, to this really nice steak place, right? She was like cute German girl. It was like 7 years ago. I was like, all right, yeah. It was like super expensive. We get in there. She's like, I'm vegan.
No.
Like, did you tell her that you were going to a steak place?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I picked her up into
in this day and age, you need to ask.
Well, this was like 7 years ago, to be fair.
Oh, okay.
This was before I was
before
vegan.
veganism,
And then we're sitting there. She looks at the menu. She's like, yeah, I'm vegan. She got like a salad.
It was
a salad at a steak place. Classic.
I felt so bad. I was like, this is awful.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm glad I don't have like any dietary things. I just eat everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What was I saying? Oh, that's right. I was talking about my little high tea. Oh no, we ended up booking not booking. We ended up just going to like a cafe, and I guess just like eating at a cafe.
What a letdown.
But no, I mean like we still had a nice time. I guess like high tea would have been more fun. But he did actually like it's not like it wasn't lying. Like he did have like the tickets and thing or like whatever it was.
Maybe you can do the reverse of that as a guy. Okay, so you're like, hey, where are we going? Oh, we're just going to a cafe, grab something to eat, and then take it to high tea. So that's like, cool. I was expecting shit all.
But then you wouldn't be dressed for a high tea. Then you'd be dressed. I'd be in gym clothes.
Is a guy's
so always dress like you're going to high tea.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, yo, this is good. This is things guys don't think of. Okay, don't do surprise shit if you need to be dressed really well. Because imagine you rocking up in your gym clothes.
That's a good point.
I'm learning so much on this podcast. Thank you guys. Every date from now on, the girl's like, this is really good. I'm like, yeah, episode 47.
Yeah, if you're going to surprise her, and you'd have to like at least pretend you're going somewhere that would have like a similar dress code. So like, for instance, if you were like surprising her with a high tea, then be like, oh, hey, we're going to like
my grandmother's funeral. Yeah, she'll dress right up.
Okay, maybe not that, but like
sexy black.
Say you're going to some other fancy thing.
Like, oh, that's kind of hot. Grandma's wedding. Let's go. That would be a perfect day.
Oh my God. Okay, I have a nightmare story. You just reminded me.
Oh, yes.
Did you go to a funeral?
Were you a date at a funeral? Did you know you were going to a funeral?
You gotta be joking.
Yes and no.
Stop.
This is awesome.
So I hope this individual never listens to this podcast because it ended badly. But they used to fly me over to Perth quite regularly. And I arrived once and it was sprung on me. It was like, babe, look, my friend's family member passed away and I'd really like it if you could come to the funeral. You can say no. I couldn't really say no.
Because you're already there.
Yeah.
I was in his car. I didn't know anyone else. Like, I just felt really put in a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went to the funeral and no joke, he was introducing me to everyone and showing me off like a trophy at this like,
how awkward.
It was what was it? Italian Catholic funeral. And it gets worse. Like as the casket was being lowered into the ground, he like whispers in my ear and he's like, you're the hottest one here, babe. And I've been uncomfortable before, but never this uncomfortable.
Jesus.
I was so upset and so angry. I felt like just a range of emotions, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point in the same day, he uttered something to me like, oh, when you get too old, I'm going to trade you in.
What the fuck?
My God.
Insane.
Yo.
And at that point, I was like, I don't know if I can see this person again. Like, that's just inappropriate.
That's
which is
super
not nice.
wild.
Yeah,
no,
it's not the kind of energy you want to be around.
No, and look, if someone said to me, "Hey, I'm really sad. I need emotional support," that's different. But I was being paraded around at a funeral, and Yeah.
And was he saying this is my girlfriend or?
Yeah, that was the cover story. And he knows my actual name and he was introducing me by that to everyone. There was not really any conversation about this prior. I was just put into a corner.
Jesus.
God.
So that's one for the memoirs, you know.
Yeah, that's
I've actually always wondered. Like, I think I put up something on my Twitter about this as well. I was like, I would love to actually pretend as somebody's girlfriend at like a family event because I did see someone.
I think it could be cool.
That would be fun, like coming to like a family barbecue, being like,
but not a funeral.
Yeah, not a funeral.
Not a
so
funeral.
Any guys listening, please do not hire an escort to go to a funeral. Please don't do that.
No, it's not appropriate. And I don't normally like to talk too much about, you know, in detail about experiences I've had with people, but this was just not acceptable.
I think, this is like a point of education for men, I think. Like, Mark is already learning like a few things.
Okay,
no funerals.
I was about to invite, no kidding.
Because guys don't think about things like from how a girl would think about it. Like, guys are just like, oh, I've just got this hot girl here that I can parade around. But
absolutely.
to a girl wouldn't see it like that. It's like, okay, I'm here.
Yeah.
Around all this sadness, and like girls are a lot more emotional than guys. Like guys can probably, I don't want to say guys can go to a funeral and not be as sad as girls.
Well,
but girls
that's what
feel
happened
emotions a bit differently to how guys do. So you would be obviously seeing all these people sad, and it would make you sad as well.
It was sad. I was sad and I was angry.
Yeah,
you know.
Did everyone else pick up on that vibe where he was kind of like, oh, check out? You know,
I have no idea because I sort of just wanted to keep my head down the whole time.
Like, oh my God, I'm not here.
Plus, everyone was quite sad.
Yeah, they're preoccupied.
Yeah. But it was very awkward, and I often use that as a cautionary tale.
Yeah,
like, don't do this.
Damn,
yeah,
that's wild. And so
pretty wild.
He didn't mention it until like you were in the car.
Yeah,
on the way. That's fucked up. All right, no surprise funerals.
Surprises. Surprises, especially with escorts. It's like maybe if you're surprising your girlfriend with something like that's a bit different. But escorts, it's like there's different sets of boundaries when you're like hiring somebody than if it's just your girlfriend or your friend or something like that. So like I feel like springing a surprise on somebody where there's everything should be agreed up front. That's part of the appeal of an escort is everything is agreed up front to what you're doing in the bedroom. It's usually all agreed. So the second it's like not, it's basically like a contract. The second you like overstep that and out of step it, it's like it just looks bad to the girl. Like it'd be like, okay, well we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, it's like a surprise finger up the bum. Like
that's yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, yeah.
we happen to always come back on the show to fingers up the bum. I don't know.
Every single episode we manage to talk about fingers up the bum.
Yeah.
No, but I encourage all my clients to please slip their fingers in my ass.
Kat's a big advocate for men.
I say it on the show all the time, and I think a lot of my clients are hearing it because I'm getting a lot of fingers up the bum lately.
Yeah.
You're manifesting this.
Exactly, yeah. So you're manifesting dates, she's manifesting fingers up the bum.
Fingers up the bum.
And it's working because I had like 10 clients in a row like chuck a finger up there and I was like, yes.
Oh, it's a good thing for you.
Oh, right. I talk about it on the show.
You weren't like assaulted 10 times in a row.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
You like putting the fingers up their bums, is that what you're saying? Or you like the fingers up your bum?
Both.
Oh, okay. She's
I like putting things up other people's bums.
I wouldn't put my finger in my client's bum without asking them. That's a little bit different.
You always
That's
ask,
a bit rapey. But I say on the podcast that I'm very open to them just putting it in. I'm like, you don't need my permission.
Okay.
Yes, I pre-consent to this.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Yeah.
So they can just do that.
Yeah. Any girls listening, I definitely don't pre-consent to fingers up the bum, okay? Just putting it out there, just on record.
I will put my fingers up your ass one of these days. It's going to be on air.
It's not happening.
It will.
All right, I got a question. Is there anything you would like to manifest from your clients besides fingers up the bum? Is there
no fingers up the bum for me?
Yeah, Candice is not a finger up the bum girl.
Is there like a certain date? Are there certain like sexual acts you love to perform? Is there anything you want to manifest?
Any kinks that you like doing?
I feel like I've done it all, but if truth be told, I'm really good at peeing on people. Like sounds like a weird skill, I know.
I love this because you know what? We actually haven't had
you haven't done pee talk?
We haven't had anyone on to actually, I guess, talk about golden showers specifically. So it's not something that I do, but it's just because I've got pee fright. I tried doing it one time. I'm the kind of person that goes to the toilet, I put the tap on. Like I don't like people hearing me. If somebody's there watching me, I can't do it. I can't piss. Talk to me about this. Talk to me about peeing on people. Why do you like doing that?
I don't know why.
Is it like this client's fucking annoying me?
No,
Lie
it's
down,
actually
let me piss in
no.
your
This is
mouth.
actually like it's the opposite reason almost. I find it's a very bonding, loving experience. Like
Tell me
they're
more.
willing to have my pee all over them, and I'm just like, that is so lovely.
That's hot.
That's
Does it
hot.
turn you on a little bit?
Yeah, it kind of does. I feel powerful,
Mm.
you know, and I often I do hydrate though, so it's not like super stinky pee.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you have to
Although I
prepare,
have
right?
a funny story. So one time someone arranged to see me at like 7 a.m, and I totally forgot that it was a golden shower booking. And he was like, all right, let's go in the shower. I'm ready for it. And I hadn't done my like first pee of the day, which is always like the stinkiest.
The worst.
And I should have said something, but like I peed on him and like in his mouth, because some people like to drink it, which I'm like, you know, it's not my thing to do that. Each their own. And I could just see in his face, he was like squinting. Like it was
Did
just.
he still love it though?
He came back another time. So.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to save the
But
first
I
payment
just
there
like,
for it.
I was looking down at him while he was drinking it, and I was like, oh, he's never going to come back. I'm traumatizing this man. But
Jesus.
he came back. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Maybe
But I
you
made
liked
sure
it.
I was more hydrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. there
Yeah.
you go.
Oh,
So
no,
it's kind of like I'm trying to put myself in your shoes here a little bit. So it's kind of like that idea that when people like you kind of at your worst, it's very endearing,
Yeah,
right? So
that's
it kind of
almost
feels
like what it is.
You
Yeah.
know, if they like, yeah,
You
it's
think
true,
I'm
right?
so hot that
Yeah,
you
that
want to
you're
drink
willing
my
to
pee.
exactly, yeah.
But I
Sounds
don't think
sexy,
that's always the reason. It's not always a power play reason people like it. Some people just love the like hot, warm sensation, and it's like it's
so your sensory
intimate.
thing.
Yeah, it's more of like a just being wet, because I've noticed this correlation between people who like golden showers also just like being in the shower and being wet.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Interesting.
Yeah, because I find it hot peeing on people, but it doesn't turn me on to be peed on.
Yeah.
I am open to it with the right person if they go from the neck down,
Okay.
but there has to be some trust there.
Okay.
I need to know they're good with their aim, you know?
Exactly.
Not going
No
to get
pee
me in the eye
face,
or
okay.
something.
So
Yeah.
do you do like pee play in your personal life, or is it just kind of with
No,
clients? Okay,
no.
So you're not really that into it.
No,
Okay.
but there's something about when I pee on people, they're so happy that it just makes me so happy.
Yeah, so I guess in your personal life, if there was someone that was like, "Oh, I really
Yeah,
love it," right? But
Totally,
yeah, yeah.
totally.
Yeah. That's awesome. And so, what are your tips here? So, number one, hydrate. No first pee of the day.
I
You
actually have
typically
it.
go in the
I
shower?
have sort of like a little routine I do.
Oh, let's
Oh,
hear
yeah,
it.
all right.
So obviously, like drink lots of water, but don't
How do you
hold
time
in. Don't hold in the pee.
Okay.
So just keep drinking, keep going to the bathroom. So then you've always got one in there.
You got one in the chamber always.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it's also quite clear. It's basically
Okay.
water at that stage.
All right. So you're not like drinking 2 liters of water and then like holding it in. Desperately,
No,
like,
see, I
waiting.
think that's where maybe
The
people go
mistake.
wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But for some reason, I've never had stage fright. It's like I was
I
born
was
to
about
do
to
this.
ask, yeah, I was about to, she's natural talent,
know.
gifted.
I'm a
have
gifted PR.
such stage fright.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any
Have you ever been peed on? I don't know if I've asked this.
No, I wouldn't. It's not a service that I
$10
would.
Danger
$10
zone.
million to pee on you.
Well, I mean, yeah, for $10 million.
what's
but
your
like, I don't
price?
think anyone's going to be paying
What's
me
your
$10
price?
million.
Everyone
to piss
has
on
a
me.
price.
$3,000.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd probably do it for even lower than that.
I know, yeah.
I want to know.
I don't know.
$1,000
Yeah.
bucks.
Oh, look. Yeah, no, it would need to be a few thousand, like probably.
Two
Like,
and a half.
for me to get peed on. Oh, look.
2.5.
I don't know, maybe
1,000.
5.
5. Okay.
Yeah.
5. All right.
I
That's
think.
fair.
I feel like I could get pissed
There
on.
you
for-
go.
Maybe even 2 if it was just like
2.
2 minutes of getting pissed on.
Yeah. Fuck, I'd do it for way cheaper than that. Eh?
Oh my God.
How much can I pay you to put my fingers up your ass?
Oh, that's a bit higher. Okay. Okay.
I love this. This is
If
so
you
funny.
if you put your fingers up my ass, how much? That'd be like
How much can I pay to do that?
That'd be like $743, I reckon.
I'll
That
put
is so
$743.
I don't.
I'll chuck in for it.
That'll be a donation drive, yeah.
Can we do one finger
Fundraiser.
each?
Oh, God. One at a time. I've got a virgin asshole over here, okay? Be gentle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'll do it for like $750. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's
Oh,
my
okay.
price.
Well, I'm going to be.
We're all manifesting things
Yeah.
today.
I'm pimping you out to myself.
I'm just imagining the next TikTok video is me up there being like, I'd do it for $750. It's gonna
Make
be
it
clipped
happen.
for
Make
sure.
your dreams happen.
Oh God. Yeah. I think that, around that.
I'm looking forward to
All
that.
right, we'll do it live on podcast. Actually,
I'm not kidding. We are going to be doing it live on the podcast.
I mean, it's not really a visual medium, so you could get away with it.
Yeah, we don't. We can just have it on my face and the pleasure that I'm going to be getting of putting my fingers in your ass.
Your pleasure. Yeah. By the way, it was a mistake putting the lollies here. I'm sorry. I can't stop fucking eating.
Can you stop because I can hear them in the mic.
I'm sorry.
I can hear you're chewing.
All right. So besides peeing on guys. Do you have any other kinks that you like in the bedroom, either like personal or in your work life?
I am quite a sensual person, even though I do a lot of sort of kinky role plays and things. I'm definitely more of I have a like softer touch. I'm definitely not a dominant person.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And role plays are fun.
What type of role plays?
I did one recently where it was actually last Saturday.
Oh.
I had a very fun overnight at the Crown. It was very fancy.
Oh, very nice.
And I think I did see your little stories. Yeah.
And the funniest thing was, so the role play involved restraints on the bed. I don't know if you've ever used those. And just
you would have.
Yeah.
You know the ones? You slip them under the bed. Yeah. So I brought them with me. And then while we went to dinner, they made up the room and we came back and like, I swear they like lined up all the condoms and like the restraints were still on the bed. Like that's what you get when you stay at the Crown.
Yeah.
Good service.
Oh my God. Yeah, but that wouldn't be the worst thing they've ever seen.
I'm sure it isn't. Yeah.
They would come in and see like mountains of like cocaine and other shit like that.
Yo, when I was staying in Poland, we had this like 65-year-old Polish lady that would come and clean our place like once a week. And that exact thing happened. I left all like my toys out, my rope and everything. This 65-year-old lady lined it all up. She put my cane on the air. I'm like this poor
did a
Christian
nice tie in your rope.
I'm like, she's traumatized. I'm like, what the fuck?
She's probably like a mistress or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's probably like, oh, this pussy shit.
Yeah.
All right, so you had some restraints.
Yes, so we did this role play where I was a sexy secretary.
Okay.
And he was my boss and he invited me to his hotel room. Very inappropriate, I know.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of did roles reversed. So actually I was being a little bit dominant.
Okay.
I think because I'm very comfortable with this person.
Yeah, you had some trust there.
It was just basically like tying him up and, asking him questions and he had to say yes, boss to me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Maybe
really
you
hot.
do like this power play a little more than you think.
I think I do, but I just it couldn't be like a first off with someone. Yeah. Because I think I get worried about how far to push and like in what way they like to be dominated. So I think I get a bit of anxiety around it. Yeah.
I think it's so common with anything when it comes to kink is it's always so much easier when you have that trust and communication.
Yes.
Because as the dominant, as you said, you're always worried about, fuck, is this too far? Is this the right thing? You're always like looking for her like reaction. You're really worried. And then as the sub, it's also the matter of, fuck, do I trust him enough to like stop when I'm a little bit uncomfortable, or like is he going to take it the right way?
There's always some kind of level of anxiety.
Yeah, makes it tough. So I think you're right. Like once you have that like trust established, I think that's why sex is so much better. Like the more you get to know.
Absolutely. Someone, I have the best times with people who I see regularly, and I think that goes for a lot of people. Like, don't you get that too?
Yeah, like there is. I think you kind of do. I know it's kind of hard to like explain because I do get people like that ask me all the time. It's like, oh, do you actually like enjoy it and stuff like that? And it's like, yeah, with regulars and stuff, like obviously you can have an enjoyment and there can be like a bond and a chemistry there. Like it's not necessarily like a romantic thing, but it's more like a close friend kind of that you're like hanging out with.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, especially with the regulars as well. Like, if it was somebody that I didn't really connect with or didn't want to see again, like they wouldn't be a regular of mine.
Of course,
I would just try to phase out that one. But yeah, so pretty much all of my regulars, like if I guess let them be a regular, there is that connection there. And yeah, I mean, and like I've even said on the show before, like with regulars, I might be more like inclined to do things with them that I maybe might not do with like other clients. So
it's about
like,
trust, right?
Like so with rimming as well. Like I don't like doing like rimming on guys, but if it's like a regular that I'm kind of comfortable with that I know is clean down there and they want me to do it, it's like okay, like I will do that because we've got that a little bit of a bond there, but I'm not just going to do it to random.
yeah, that's exactly right.
How do you guys? Because you just reminded me of this. Like, how do you guys break up with a regular?
Fire a client. It's good firing.
Sorry, I'm using the romantic terms here. Sorry, how do you fire a client?
It's like a breakup. kind of like you basically kind of
because that's what I'm thinking. Like,
say
do
you're
it.
not going to see them anymore, but in a nice way.
And you don't want to, like, I've had to get to the point with someone where I was like, please stop messaging me or I will send you a cease and desist.
Oh, wow.
And I don't want to be bad cop like that.
No, but yeah, when it gets to that point, you kind of have to.
Yeah. I think the initial message was something along the lines of, look, I don't think we're suited for each other.
Yeah.
And that's truly what I thought. I didn't hate their guts or anything. I just thought it wasn't right, and then it escalated.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, this is a business relationship, which the lines do often get blurred because it's being intimate. But at the end of the day, this is like a contractual like business relationship. So the same way, like, I guess people would let go of like a client, like in any other industry. Like, okay, if the client's fucking around, like when I was working in accounting, we used to fire clients all the time because they were fucking shit, and it's like they're just not worth the money for us anymore. Yeah, it's not worth the effort and the work.
Good money and bad money in my opinion.
So we used to fire clients all the time. So it's the same, I guess, in any industry. Like if some people are just not worth the money.
Yeah, and I guess like you make a good point. Like to me, it felt like intuitively more difficult. But I guess like it's very similar in a lot of other service industries where you are like, let's say, intimate with a client, like where you do know them for a long time. Like even if you just take like a PT during fitness training, if you've been like training with someone for a year and you're like, oh,
yeah, my PT is like my best friend.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so like if your PT, like if you had a client you just really didn't want to fucking coach anymore, it was like frustrating, then that would be an awkward conversation too, I guess. Like it's probably similar.
I don't think anyone likes
dealing
with it.
No, because it is kind of like breaking up with someone, I guess.
Yeah.
No, it's not easy.
No. So Candice, what are your plans moving forward? I know you're taking like a little bit of a break at the moment.
Me time.
Yeah.
I've kind of been smashing myself over the past few years.
Yeah, you've been going hard.
Yeah. And look, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it, but it's sort of catching up with me. I'm needing some R&R. And so I thought I'd take all of December to just, like go to sleep at the same time every night, cook myself food regularly, all the nice boring things.
Yeah.
And then in the new year, I plan to still take a bit more time for myself. Like, maybe 2 days a week where I turn my phone off.
Oh, that sounds nice.
That's heavy.
2 whole days.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time my phone was ever off. I don't think it's been off since I got it.
Yeah, I've been dabbling recently, and I just think it's good for the mental health. To just switch off.
And taking breaks is important in this job as well. Like especially with this job where it's like you're not always seeing clients every day, but there is always work to do every day. There's always admin.
There's always some shit.
There's always something happening. Yeah, there's planning, especially messaging and stuff. I just announced as well recently that I'm taking December and January off touring. I tour like a fair bit.
And touring would take a lot of organization. I've dabbled with touring, but it's not for me. It was a lot.
Why is that?
I feel like the volume I have to work at to make it financially viable was just a bit too much for my body. I actually toured Canberra last week. It was fantastic. I met lovely people, but I definitely couldn't keep that up. Yeah.
And so what are you doing with your time off? Are you just chilling? Are there any hobbies you've taken up?
No new hobbies. I'm a bit of a grandma, really.
Honestly,
a bit wholesome.
I know. I just like watching TV in my pajamas and ordering Uber Eats.
Yeah. Reading, cooking, catching up with family and friends, because I feel like I've just neglected that over the past few years because Candice has been number one, which again, like I love it. Won't take anything for granted, but it's time I just focused on myself a bit.
Yeah, good on you. Okay. And so any big plans for the New Year's or just more of the same? And
I would love to do an international tour when I just said I didn't want to tour. But
I don't like tours, too much organising, but next year,
I know, it's weird. I just don't count it. It's the same thing. I want to.
It's a bit of a holiday, I guess, as well, right?
Like you could sort of use it to fund a holiday. Yeah. But I'm a bit nervous because I'm face out. And I've just heard some horror stories about people traveling internationally, especially with facial recognition now.
Where would you go though? Where are you thinking? Like
Singapore?
America?
Singapore and Hong Kong.
I haven't done Hong Kong yet. I've done Singapore twice. Always had a great time there. But yeah, Hong Kong's definitely on the touring list.
Yeah, and
sometime
London
next year.
Cool.
Yeah, London would be fun as well. But I heard that it's a little bit different working there because apparently it's all agencies there.
I've heard that too.
So I'd need to know. I'd need to talk to a few people before doing that, but that would be fun to
Much
do.
research to be done, really, because I feel like we have it pretty good.
Yeah, it's a bit, from what I've heard, it's
Wales.
different how it works in London to here. It's not as independent It's more like agency based. That's what I've heard anyway, but
I'm
not sure. Yeah, that one. I don't think I know anyone that's been to the UK to work, but yeah, definitely more research on that one.
I think I was chatting to someone and that's the feedback I heard too.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have any more questions?
Nope.
Cool. Is there anything else you wanted to cover? Otherwise, we'll wrap up.
I think that's about everything.
All right, cool.
Probably forgetting like heaps of stories and
Oh,
fun
nice.
anecdotes.
No, it's been really good.
But yeah, I feel like
it's been the
most interesting person in the world.
No, it's been awesome. I know, I've enjoyed it. So Candice, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I believe because stupid Instagram deleting my original one, it's like Candice Kane VIP2.
Okay.
Instagram.
I know I had the same thing. So my handle's like not the same as what it used to be because I got my Instagram deleted.
Yeah.
I know we all have fucking platform bans.
Yeah, and then Twitter is Candice Kane VIP, and then my website, CandiceKane.com.
Awesome. Sweet. We'll put those links in the description. But
thank you guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. All right, cheers.